Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to Crafters TV. My name's Ben Moseby. Thanks for joining us. I hope your Saturday's going well and thank you for being here for a little cheeky craft along. We love this show. It is one of our favourite shows because it's an award-winning show where you get the opportunity to craft along with us. All of the projects that we do on these shows are done in real time. So whether you're doing it right now when we're here, or maybe you think to yourself, well, I've got this collection, I'll come back to this at a later date. It's all done in real time for you. So the hope is that you can craft with Lilly today, make a fantastic project, and then at the end of it, you got a great make, and then you can post it up, share it with everybody else, tag us in your makes, so that we can all enjoy and see what you guys have crafted with. Today, the craft along is with one of my favourite collections that we launched across our Halloween sets. It is the card bases for Halloween and fall. I'm laughing because I made Pumpkinstein, didn't I, with this kit, and then a little while back, Lily and I were on a show together, launch party, and I had to do the last hour on my own, and thankfully Lily had left a little prep pack for me. Yes, she did, which I managed to put together and craft the pumpkin with. So it holds a real dear place in my heart, this collection, and we're going to see it in action with the marvellous Lily. What are you going to be making with this set? Are we going Halloween or are we going fall here?
We're going to go for fall.
Aww.
And all I'm going to say is, when is a shaped card base not a shaped card base? When it's
What
a wreath?
How
different is that? You would not think, looking at those dies over there, that you can create your very own hanging wreath. It could be on an inside door. You could even have it flat, perhaps on a table with a nice pillar candle in the inside. How different is that? But you can make that with total and utter ease when it comes to your amazing shaped card dies. Different, isn't it?
Absolutely, that is different. And this is the thing again, you know, if you watched Lily's craft along earlier in the week, you know, using another set in not the way it was intended. And that's the great thing about a lot of our products, Lily, isn't it? That you've got the intention, but then you guys always find lots of different ways to use them as well.
Absolutely. And I think especially when you've been crafting for a number of years, perhaps you've got tons and tons of dies in your crafty stash. I think the dies or stamps or whatever items we have in our stash, they have to work a little bit harder. So they can't just do one thing or two things. We have to be able to use them for a plethora of different applications in our crafting, and this is what I absolutely love. I love taking a concept die or a concept stamp or whatever it might be and totally flipping that concept on its head and doing something entirely different. That's exactly what we're going to do with this craft along this afternoon.
All right, listen, chat along with everybody else in the comments, share ideas, ask questions with each other as well, and just generally have a good old time. Let's have a look with Lily though, if you are going to take part and craft along, what you're going to need.
So all you're going to need is these following items that we're going to share with you now. So you'll need your Leaves Are Falling stamp and die set. When you're looking at your water reactive ink pads, you're going to need your Bordeaux, your Freya Brown, Grasshopper and your Orange. You'll also need your Rustic Brown waterproof ink pad, some watercolour cardstock, white cardstock and craft cardstock. You also need some ribbon. And then your additional elements are going to be your Gemini 2 die cutting machine, a guillotine, magnetic stamping platform, a pair of scissors, a poker tool, one of your blending tools, all-purpose glue, tacky glue, red liner tape, and your foam pads as well.
There you go. Give you just a few moments to get all those bits and pieces together. So the good news is if you've already got the bits and pieces, you can craft along with us right now. If you've already got them but you haven't got time, you can come back to this show at a later date. If you haven't got the goodies, well, I've got good news for you because I've got them all on the show for you. Everything available for you individually. However, the best way to go is to go for the Showstopper collection where you get everything. Look at the saving that you're making. Really big saving on, you know, a product which is fairly new. £72 or £88 is what you'll pay for everything. And you get a cheeky little 100 bonus points as well. Yes, I know. So let's get started. I'll tell you what, let's show you the fall collection first of all. So what you're going to get within these sets are a huge amount of stamps and dies. So you get all the dies to be able to create your card bases, and as we've seen, you know, just toppers if you want to. I think this is a great collection because you've got so much there as far as foliage is concerned, and almost like she knew, a great way to be able to kind of fill your wreaths and, you know, use them that way as well.
Absolutely. I'm looking at that large die now and I'm thinking that'd be great as an aperture.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Use that large one as an aperture, perhaps create a shaker card with that one, fill it with lots of sequins and goodies. Lots of uses with these, not just about creating your shape cards.
It's called Leaves Are Falling if you want it individually, and of course you get all of those stamp sentiments there too. This one is called your Harvest Cornucopia. So again, you've got all of those bits and pieces to be able to create your shaped card base, but but again, lots of opportunity to use those in different ways. Some really lovely positive uplifting sentiments there as well. Then you've got your Harvest Nature, so this is all about that sort of woodland scene, if you like, with the, I know you said pumpkin, it's definitely not a pumpkin, with the mushroom or the toadstool that you've got there. And again, you can build that all up, create a shaped card, or just use those as toppers if you want. Again, some lovely sentiments within that set. And then I think probably the quirkiest item in this collection, it's a quirky turkey. There's the turkey with his pilgrim hat on. Stay away from the pie though, you might end up in that. But all the bits and pieces to be able to pop your turkey together, and again you've got lots of great sentiments in there too. That's a bundle if you want it. But however, I know you're all going to go for the showstopper because you get all the Halloween elements in there too. And this is my favourite set between the two. I love Halloween. I love all the fun characters that you've got here, and this is the feline spooky. So you've got that really cute cat. I think, again, we've chatted about this a lot, but yes, looks spooky, great for Halloween, but change the colours on this and you can use this all year round, can't you?
Absolutely, yep. Take take the hat off the cat, so to speak.
Yes.
Change up the colourways and it's going to look totally different. Doesn't have to be a spooky cat. Could be a cute little cat, could be a tabby cat, could be a white cat, could be any sort of cat you so choose.
And again, you know, if you wanted to, you could use that hat to maybe decorate your pumpkin. This one is called Jack-o'-lantern. What I love about this one particularly, you've got the Scooby-Doo ghost, as we've been calling it, but then you've also got here all of these different dice. So you can change the expression on your pumpkin. So he can be snarling, he can be smiling, he can be a little bit upset.
Yeah, it could be a bit dozy. Yeah. I'm just thinking as well, does anybody remember, did they tune in last week when we had our conversation about names that like made up different words? I wonder if there's anybody out there that's called Jack-o'-lantern. There's gotta be. Jack-o'-lantern.
Jack-o'-lantern.
Anybody let us know? Any Jack-o'-lanterns watching? Let us know in the comments.
That would be amazing if there was. Then we've got this one here, Batty About You. I love this one too. Again, great topper, great as a card base, but as we've seen, I think on previous samples as well, I mean, great to create kind of Halloween home decor with as well, that one.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great on bunting as well. Thinking too, if you're creating like a Halloween style mobile, how cool would that be to have your little bats actually flying through the air? And that one, I'm not quite sure what it is about him. I think it's his little teeth, his little mouth, and his eyes, there's something about it that just makes me giggle. I think he's just absolutely adorable. Love him.
And then last but by no means least, my favourite in the collection, it is Frankenstein's monster. Again, you get all of the elements here to be able to create the monster. You choose what colour you want it to be. Again, I think, you know, if you watch the launch on this, you've seen purple monsters, you've seen my Pumpkinstein orange monster, all the elements there. I also loved, was it Debbie who stuck the hair on the wrong way around? And he looked like a pirate.
Oh, did she?
She put the hair on upside down, and he ended up looking like a pirate, or like a boy band member,
or
like spiky hair.
Dragged through a hedge backwards. Yeah. A dishevelled Frankenstein.
So again, all the dies and stamps in there too to be able to pop that together. Saving $45.92 today, or $49.60. There's your platinum price, and of course you get 100 bonus points to go with. But of course, we're concentrating on the fall. We're concentrating on that beautiful leaf, and we're going to see how to put this wreath together. It looks complicated.
I promise you it's actually super easy, but it is a little bit of die cutting. The main sort of body of work when we are creating this wreath is just going to be the die cutting, but it's actually really easy to construct the wreath itself. So we're bringing the Leaves Is Falling stamp and die set. We will leave, so to speak, oh dear. We'll leave out those stamps for the time being, and we'll focus on the dies. We are getting all of these dies included within this one set here, and a really nice range of different sizes and sort of styles of those leaves within this one set as well. And to create some of these leaves, we're going to be using craft card, we're going to be using some of our watercolour cardstock as well, so we can actually colour these ourselves. So lots and lots of different options as to how we can actually colorise these leaves. You could be cutting them from white cardstock, colouring them, coloured cardstock, ink them. All of those choices are completely down to you when you are creating with these beautiful leaves. So we are going to be die cutting those, but I'll tell you what we will do first is we will actually create the wreath itself. Now, all we need in order to create the wreath itself, piece of 12 by 12 white cardstock, and anything that's sort of nice, large, round size. I knew the big wheel would come in useful.
Yeah.
I have to say I actually used a dinner plate at home. Dinner plate works quite nicely.
Oh, yes, okay.
Anything like this. That's nice and round and quite a large size. But of course, if you want to create a slightly smaller wreath, then you can do that absolutely. Perhaps just using some of the smaller leaves in the collection as well. Now, I'm not drawing this exactly as you can see. I'm using a pen as well. You can see?
Yeah.
It's not too neat.
Bit
You don't need to worry
if you were
about
trying to
it.
do that.
Just a little bit, but there you go. You're thinking, oh dear, look at that. Don't worry, it's fine. It's absolutely not a problem at all because we're going to be festooning this with leaves.
Oh, another great word.
Another word, I
Festooning.
know. I'm trying to think of all these words. You would have thought I had a dictionary for breakfast this morning, didn't we?
Yeah.
All the words coming out. But we're going to festoon this with leaves, so we
Go
don't
back
need
to
to worry.
Thursday for, what was it?
Nomenclature.
Nomenclature.
Yeah, look back on that show. That was a fun old show, wasn't it? Talk about going off topic, eh? Went into all of the chemistry terminology, didn't we, with nomenclature? And for those of you that didn't tune in, do watch the show back. But it basically means a naming system.
Yeah, you'll be more intelligent for watching that show.
You certainly will. You'll have a new word in your vocabulary, which is always good fun. So we've cut around the edge pretty roughly, but we don't need to worry about it because we will be covering it with those leaves. And then for the centre, all I do is take my pokey tool, pop a little hole in there, just so that I've got that area to actually get my scissors into. I start off by removing sort of the bulk of cardstock there.
I'm sorry, but that is such a simple thing to do, but what a great tip.
So easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So easy. Just shove your pokey tool in and you're good to go. Of course, do watch your fingers if they are behind where you're applying your pokey tool. And all we're going to do is we're just going to create a frame. So maybe about an inch thick, I'd say, roughly. But do not worry about this looking messy. We are going to totally and utterly cover it. I have to say, the first time I created one of these, I spent absolutely ages trying to cut out the perfect circle, trying to make it super, super neat and even and level. And then I ended up covering it in the leaves.
It doesn't matter
what's the point?
Yeah.
We will not see any of this at all. So don't worry about spending ages doing this. At the end of the day, this isn't the exciting or fun part of the project. This is just the bit that we need to actually create to layer our leaves on top of. So just go around there, and that's going to create our sort of wreath base. Reason why I didn't use dies is I didn't actually have a die that's large enough to cut this. You would need sort of a 12 by 12 or 10 inch roughly die set in order to create a wreath of this size. Now I did say I didn't want it to be neat, and then you look at it and you think,
Just neaten it up now.
Just neaten it up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's still very messy, but it's slight little bit better. And that's going to be our basis to actually layer all those leaves onto. But we will leave that to one side. I keep coming out with the leaf jokes. Oh dear, you're rubbing off on me, Ben, all these terrible dad jokes.
I haven't done one yet today.
I know you haven't actually.
No.
I mean, mind you, the show's still young. We've still got plenty
It is still
of
very
time.
young.
Certainly is plenty of time for dad jokes, side. Now, this is where we're going to bring in our die. So we've got our lovely statement large die. Like I was saying just a few moments ago, want that to make an amazing aperture for your cards, just for that little bit of a point of difference. Could even pop a photo behind as well. That would work quite nicely for that sort of design. And we're just grabbing all of our leaves from our die set. I believe this is a new one. It feels quite nice and fresh, so I'm being treated very well today with all the new dies.
And all the dies again will go through the MIDI, won't they? And just looking at this, some of the smaller ones will go through the MIDI, won't they?
All of them, apart from the large one,
Yeah.
should go through your very tiny little diddy machines. So, yeah, plenty of scope for these, especially if you're crafting with the kids, which would be a great sort of thing to do. They'd love creating a wreath like this, I think. Perhaps it's going to be for their bedroom door, or they want to be creating something for maybe harvest festivals at school. Do they still do those? Anybody remember a harvest festival?
I used to love a harvest festival,
I
like, because
did.
you'd each like bring in
A tin of something.
tin of beans
Tin
or something,
peaches,
wouldn't you?
yeah. Something from the back of the cupboard, whatever you could find.
Yeah.
You'd go, oh, Mum, we need to bring in something for Harvest Festivals. Right, to the back of the cupboard. What
Rice
have we got in
pudding.
here?
They've been in there for 3
Yeah,
years.
yeah. Bring that in, pop it at the back of the assembly hall, and all the tins will be there stacked up, ready for Harvest Festival. I used to love a Harvest Festival.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, maybe we should do a Crafters TV Harvest Festival. We'll bring in our old tins. Yeah, good fun,
Your
isn't
own
it?
Crafters TV Harvest Festival.
It'd be brilliant. Special standalone show.
One of my favourite hymns, I think, well, that actually is that Harvest Festival. We plough the fields and scatter.
Oh,
You
yeah.
remember that one?
Yeah. Singing
dear.
cross-legged on the hall floor.
It was good as well. We used to go into the church to do it, and I always used to like it because you knew if it was Harvest Festival, you'd have like pretty much like your lessons up to lunch.
Yeah.
And then you do nothing from lunch, would you? You just go and have the Harvest Festival.
Yeah, we
So you knew it
used
was a
to
half day.
have this, like the special days like Christmas or Easter or Harvest. We'd go down to the church and you'd all troop down to the church that was just down the road.
Yeah.
And like you say, you do your morning full of lessons and you'd be sat there thinking, oh, I can't wait for the afternoon. You go to the church, do a bit of singing, say a few prayers, get to leave at 3 o'clock. It was
Exactly
brilliant.
right, yeah.
Yeah. Kids of today, do you still do that?
What's that?
Your kids
Oh,
of
the
today,
kids today,
do they
yeah.
still do it? Did they still do it? I wonder. I hope so.
I don't know whether they do. I mean, Daisy's what, nearly 3 years out of primary school now, but I can't recall since we moved up here that they did much at Harvest Festival.
Oh, it's a shame.
That is a shame.
I have to campaign to bring them back, eh?
Bring back the Harvest
Bring back the
Festival.
Harvest Festival, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very English thing. I wonder if the guys stateside do it. Or they more Thanksgiving, we're more Harvest Festival. I'm never quite sure.
Yeah, I guess theirs is more Thanksgiving, isn't it, in November?
Yeah.
When did we do Harvest Festival? Is it?
I was just thinking that myself. Is there like a specific date or is it around a sort of time of year? I'm not sure.
So long since I've been in school, I can't remember when we
Well,
used to do
we
it.
do know you're very old.
I know, it's still black and white back in those days.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah. You used to have to do them by candlelight. So there's no electricity. Oh dear, oh dear.
I've just celebrated in the United Kingdom, producer Johnny's just said, so there you go.
Interesting.
The Sunday closest to the harvest moon,
Oh.
which is usually around the time of the autumn equinox.
Also, slightly linked, slightly not. Harvest Moon, I'm sure that's one of the names of one of the colours of our new glitter paste. If anybody got those on Monday, I'm sure there's one called Harvest Moon.
I think you are right.
I
There's
hope
also
I am.
a harvest, isn't there a harvest moon in the glitter pens as well? In the earthy naturals?
Ah, yes, there is, I think. Yes. I might have made it up about the glitter paste now. That might be what I was thinking of.
Yeah, I think that might be it. Yeah.
Who knows? Anyway, well, we've been talking all things Harvest Festival and everything else as well. We've just been doing a little bit of die cutting, so all I'm doing with this, it's nice and easy to do, just a case of getting yourself into a little bit of a rhythm, I suppose. So when it comes to our craft cardstock, we're going to be die cutting 4 of the big leaf and then 3 of all the smaller leaves. Literally as simple as that. So you're just going to go ahead and continue doing all of that die cutting. So we've got 3 of the smaller ones, so they're done with for now, and then we just need to do 1 more of the larger one. And then that's going to give us plenty to fill our wreath with.
Do you have to do 1 sheet at a time then, or would you be able to like double up on your cardstock and cut, or might that be a bit too tough?
Good old question, that one. Now, it would cut through, it definitely would cut through, but the reason why I'm going for 1 sheet at a time,
Yes.
1 sheet does plenty, as they do say, is because we've got our embossing detail
I
on
knew
here.
it.
He knew it.
I knew
he was just heckling us there.
I was just...
He's asking for you guys at home.
I'm
He
just
knew
asking
already.
the questions that everyone's
He's
thinking.
an expert. He's an expert.
Yeah.
He is. He did a whole show on his own last Tuesday.
I did.
Demos and all.
Yeah.
It was good. It was very good.
Yeah. Got a few nice comments as well, so maybe again in the future if we're stuck, big pop. You know, you can always count on me, as long as Lily leaves me all the prep. Yeah, yeah.
As long as you've got your prep done for you, you'll be all right.
Exactly right. Yeah, I can stick stuff together.
Yeah,
You know.
I mean, we all can, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do a little bit of crafting when I get stuck. Oh, here's something that Lily made for me earlier.
Yeah.
Let's pop my thing in the bin.
Yeah, nobody needs to know about that. We had to go, but it didn't quite work out. Oh dear, oh dear. Right, so all of our craft card leaves are cut out. So we've got 4 of the big, 3 of each of the small. Now, you don't have to go for 4, 3s. It's totally up to you. I just found for the wreath that I created when I was prepping this at home, I found I got the best effect by using quite a few leaves. At the end of the day, if you cut more than you need and you've got sort of spares left over, do save them. You can use them for another project. I started off when I was creating mine actually cutting 5, so I've got a couple left over that I could use on another project. They're always going to come in useful. So I would always say for any sort of project like this, cut more than you think you need. And then if you do end up with more than you actually need, you've got some extra for another project. Or maybe you're just going to create another wreath. Maybe you love creating it, you're going to make another one for the Harvest Festival.
Well, there you go, see? Take a decorative element to the Harvest Festival, not a can of beans or rice pudding.
Oh yeah, rice pudding. It was always rice pudding. Rice pudding or a tin peaches.
A tin of peaches,
Tin peaches, yeah.
Or also, I suppose they must do them now, it's just you never look for them. When you'd have like the spaghetti hoops, or like you get the different characters in spaghetti tomato sauce.
Alphabetic spaghetti.
Yeah, yeah.
Johnny and Ari are saying they're not cheap. Johnny, you're not wrong. I love a spaghetti hoop and they are not cheap. Not cheap.
To do the character ones, it was always Postman Pat back in my day. I always wanted the Postman Pat.
See, I always remember having the alphabetti ones. That was like a proper treat, was that?
What, when you could like spell out different words on your plate?
Yeah, I used to love that. Maybe that's where I got my knowledge of all the big words. That was
That's
training me
it.
up for all the big words, was that?
Festooned.
Yeah.
Mum, what does this mean on my plate?
She's like, I don't know. Oh dear.
I used to love the, and my mum never bought them for me. I suppose again it's probably because they're expensive. They're just called smiley faces, like the potato faces.
Yes, yeah.
I used to love them.
They're very nice, they're very nice. But I tell you what I always used to get, and I presume it was probably because they're a little bit cheaper. Instead of smiley faces, it was
Sad
waffles.
faces.
But no, yeah, the knockoff ones with funny facial expressions. Can you imagine, like the misshapen ones?
Yeah.
No, waffles, potato waffles.
Bird's eye potato waffles.
Oh, they weren't the branded ones. Yeah.
Waffly versatile, yeah.
yeah. Did you still love them? They're not cheap as well now.
No.
I went to have a look, thought, oh, I fancy some waffles. I get myself a pack of potato waffles. I went into the supermarket, thought, no, I blooming well won't. I'll have something else, thank you very much.
Really?
Pay that. But the more whole than potato. Oh dear, oh dear. You wouldn't be putting a potato waffle at Harvest Festival, it would defrost. It's got to be tinned. Or pasta.
What?
Sometimes it'd be pasta as well.
Pasta,
You'd bring
yeah.
in pasta.
Tinned veg was another one, like you say. Tinned veg,
Yeah.
like tinned potatoes or
Tinned carrots.
tinned carrots or tinned peas.
Yeah, tinned mixed veg.
Tinned mixed veg.
Yeah, like the cheapy mixed veg, like your chopped carrots and your peas.
Like
yeah.
you used to get at school, you get the carrots and sweet corn, wouldn't you? Carrot, sweet corn and peas.
Yeah, no, Jamie's saying baby carrots,
No.
we weren't that posh, they were diced ones, little
diced ones.
cubed ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mind you, when I was quite young, pretty much the only vegetable we had at school dinners was processed peas.
Oh, processed
Processed peas with everything.
Yeah, cabbage we had a lot as well.
Cabbage, yeah. Mind you, I do like cabbage, bit of boiled cabbage. Can't go wrong. Yeah. Not cabbage soup, though. Jamie's saying cabbage soup now. No. No. It's like something out of Oliver Twist, isn't it? Our conversation on this show.
He's going to have some more. More cabbage
Please.
soup, boy.
Oh, dear.
Cabbage soup diet, isn't there, that a lot of people do? Couldn't think of anything
Yeah,
worse.
that was a big thing. Was that the 80s? That was a big thing.
Yeah, late 80s I think it was.
Yeah. I don't think it's a current thing, but you know, these things do end up coming back around,
Come back
don't they?
round again, yeah, all
Yeah.
these fads.
Can you
Look at
imagine?
that pile of leaves you got. I would love to just kick through that.
Oh yeah, you can. Well, don't do it. It would
No.
ruin my demo. But,
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, just come over here with your muddy shoes, stamping all over my lovely crisp white leaves.
Yeah. I saw a man underneath the pile of leaves recently. So what's
here
your
we
name?
go.
He said Russell.
I'm trying not to laugh, but I'm going to have to. It's quite
Yeah.
funny. I've
Russell.
not heard that one before.
Oh, have you not?
Poor old Russell.
That's
Under a pile
delighted
of
me even
leaves.
more. Russell.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Anyway, we've done all our die cutting.
Thank
we've
goodness.
Had, we've had
We've
many a
filled that
conversation.
time.
I could tell another gag was coming on, and I thought, blooming heck, I need to hurry along
hurry up
here.
quick before he starts again.
Absolutely, yeah. We can't be doing any more Russell gags there. So you can see I've got an absolute cornucopia of leaves there. Oh, another beautiful word coming out there. So we've got all our craft guard leaves, and we've got all of our white leaves as well. Now, because I have to say, I do quite like order. I like things having a bit of a system to them. So I've done exactly the same amount of leaves in white as I have in brown. You don't have to do that. Just it pleases my tiny little mind to have that nice sort of pattern there. But this is where we're going to add a little bit of colour to our white die cut leaves. So we'll bring in some of our water reactive ink pads. We're going to colour these one at a time. Now I find it gives you a much better effect if you actually die cut first and then colour. Reason being, if you have a little look at this die cut here, oh yeah, there we go. Can you see you've got all those lovely embossed lines? Now, if you ink afterwards, it's going to pick up all of that beautiful sort of embossing on the lines there. Can you see that?
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
without even running them through your die cutting machine with the embossing
Wowee.
mat. That's just with the cut. That's the beauty of your Gemini die cutting machine. You can see all of that detail. So by inking afterwards, although we're applying ink all over the piece, it's going to add a little bit more sort of pop to those veins, just to add that extra bit of detail. Now I've got a sort of a mix of different colours here. I've got all water reactive ink pads, but we've got our grasshopper, orange, Bordeaux and Freya brown. I find these colourways work quite nicely for your autumn leaves.
Okay.
So we'll bring in all of these colours.
Why specifically water reactive, or is it just your sort of go-to?
You will see in just a moment.
Aha.
But you can use your duet ink pads.
Yeah.
You want something that's going to basically have some sort of reaction with water. So obviously clues in the name with your water reactive, of course they are going to react with water. But your duet ink pads, they react beautifully with water as well. They'll just give you a different effect, but they'll still work beautifully. I'm thinking what colourways. If you're going to use your duets, I'd probably go for either your Sweet Clementine or your Sunrise Glow.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd go in with your, perhaps your lemon meringue, you could bring that one in, and your rosy apple.
Yeah.
You could also do this same technique with your opaque pigment ink pads. And of course, those are the same sort of colour, same sort of nomenclature as your water reactive. So they've all got the same names with your water reactive, with your opaque pigment, and with your quick dry. You could even give you a totally different look, but it could look absolutely gorgeous, I think, with your shimmering pads.
Oh, okay.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? If you want to have this a little bit more blingy, a little bit of shimmer and shine, that would look absolutely stunning. So going with your shimmering pads, either your gold or your original sort of silvery colour tones, and they're going to look beautiful. But all we're doing is we're just starting by building up the colour. Now, you know what I'm like, it's difficult for me to be random when it comes to these sort of things, but the more random you are with this, the better it's going to look. So we just want to lay down that colour. It doesn't even need to be blended perfectly. You'll get a better effect if it's a little bit more sort of streaky, a little bit more natural, to be honest with you. When it comes to a leaf, if you looked at a leaf, there won't be a perfect blend between all of those different colourways. It's just got that lovely dappling of colour all over. It's
imperfect perfection, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's nature's beauty, isn't it? It certainly is. So just laying down our colourways, mixing them together, blending them together, but like I say, not worrying about having that perfect blend. Now, because with these larger leaves, we're covering quite a broad area with our ink. So what I tend to do when I want to cover a larger area with my inking, I'll go in with my square blending tool, as we've discussed on many an occasion. It certainly isn't square.
It's a rectangle.
It's a rectangle. Who would have known, eh? Hey, can you imagine if you're giving this to the kiddies and they're learning the shapes and you say, it'd confuse them terrible, wouldn't it? Oh dear, all the poor crafting children at home completely confused by the round.
All the poor crafting children at home. Not knowing the squares from the rectangle.
Oh, I know. Any kids or grandkids that are crafting with you, just call it the rectangle blending tool for their mathematics' sake, eh? Do you remember learning shapes? Anyone else remember learning shapes?
Oh dear.
Do you remember having the little plastic blocks of all the different shapes? They had a big tray. Anyone else have this? They had like all the shapes moulded in plastic, and you pull one out and go, this is a square, this is a cube, this is a sphere.
I remember when I was really little, you had the little toy where you'd have the different shapes that you'd slot into the thing. And if you dropped in, like the little face on the front would light up, or like the nose would flash or something.
That was great fun, was that? Yeah. And all the little clocks when you're learning to tell the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was good fun.
I was reading somewhere, it was on one of the social media sites recently, where they're saying they're taking analogue clocks out of a lot of the schools now because a lot of the kids don't know how to tell the time.
Oh my gosh.
On an analogue clock.
So
they're
just
also
on
used to
digital.
having like I suppose like Apple Watches and things like that now. It's all digital,
so it's
isn't
digital. Yeah. See, I quite like a normal clock, as it were, an analogue clock.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something bizarre though. I don't know if she's still got it. My mum has a backwards clock. It's the most.
Clock.
It absolutely plays havoc with your mind. It's horrendous. So it's like flipped.
What? So you have to almost like look at it in the mirror.
Kind of, yeah. It's really bizarre.
What is that? One she wears on her wrist, or is it on the wall?
No, it's on the wall.
Oh.
And it used to be in the living room, and you used to look at the time. You just wanted to know what time it was, very innocently. You wanted to know the time. You look at the clock and you'd be completely flummoxed. Yeah, very strange.
So instead of like, you look at the clock and it would say like 3 o'clock, it would be 9 o'clock.
Be almost like, like you're looking in a mirror. Very strange indeed. Don't know if she still got it, but it was very confusing. And I don't quite know what the purpose of a clock like that is, just to confuse people perhaps?
Yeah.
Certainly did its job with that one.
It's like the, I'm really off topic here.
Here we are.
Back to front bikes.
What?
Back to front bikes. I always remember when the fair used to come to, it always used to be Paignton actually, they used to have that. They used to have this challenge, and this guy used to come with this back to front bike, which was rigged basically back to front. So if you wanted to pedal to go forward, you pedal backwards. If you wanted to steer left, you'd steer right. If you wanted to steer right, you'd steer left. And the challenge was to like be able to cycle it along this, I don't know, 50-metre course or whatever. And it was hilarious that nobody could do it. Yeah.
Good grief. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
Yeah, back to front bike. You wouldn't be able to do it nowadays because of like all the health and safety. Like, people would fall off, you know.
Yeah,
like,
they certainly would. It does sound
scratches all over their legs or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Makes me think as well, some people have their mouses on the computer like upside down. So if you scroll up, the mouse goes down.
Oh, no.
Oh, gosh, it's awful.
No.
If you go on somebody's computer, have had that on, you try and work it, it's just drives you batty. It's
Life's
terrible.
difficult enough to understand without all of these things
I know.
potentially making life even more difficult.
Absolutely. And talking of making life more difficult for ourselves, because we're now onto the smaller leaves, I've swapped out to my little finger dauber, and that was bringing it back. There we go.
There you go.
Back to the craft along. It was all linked.
Yeah, all
Totally linked, yeah.
All relevant chat.
Absolutely. So when we were blending onto that large one, because we wanted to cover that broader area, your square/rectangle blending tool is going to be perfect. But because we're actually blending onto these really diddy little leaves now, your little finger daubers are going to be perfect for getting into all that detail. You will get a little bit covered in ink, but that is definitely all part of the enjoyment when it comes to creating things like this, when we're getting all inky and inking up our little leaves here.
It's nice as well that we bring you all of the different applicators to be able to apply your ink, because obviously the dauber was great with the sort of larger leaves, but that would be really difficult to use here. So the finger daubers come into their own here, don't they?
Absolutely. It's a little bit like you wouldn't stir your cup of tea with a soup spoon, would you?
No.
Well, you wouldn't. Well,
No, you wouldn't.
Would you? If
I
you
might
do.
have done in the past when I've had no teaspoons, but no, generally you wouldn't. So,
Yeah. It's the same sort of thing, isn't it? Like, you wouldn't, I don't know, you wouldn't...
you wouldn't have a bowl of soup with a teaspoon.
You wouldn't. This is true. This is true. Absolutely. So it's all sort of horses for courses. It's the right tool for the right job.
Yeah.
I know some people love using their blending brushes. They're going to work a treat for certain techniques as well. All depends on what sort of technique you're creating.
Yeah.
So just going in with all these different colours, I'm trying my best to be random, guys. I'm trying really
random.
hard. It's not easy, but I'm trying to be nice and random with all of the colours that I'm adding onto here, just to start to lay down this colour. And it's a really nice batch make, this one. Just do all your die cutting to start with, then do all your inking, then you're going to assemble your wreath. And it's a nice sort of process. So maybe you've only got an hour or half an hour to craft today. So do the first stage, so perhaps you're just going to do the die cutting one day, then leave it to one side, come back to it the next day, perhaps you're going to do all of your inking the next day, and then the day after you're going to complete it by popping all of those elements together to start to build that wreath. Don't feel like you've got to do it all in one fell swoop. You can do it in different stages, and just by breaking a project down into those different elements, into those different technique stages, it does make it a lot more manageable, especially if you've not got tons and tons of time on your hands to get crafting. Just carrying on inking up our little leaves, and then this is where we're going to bring it to life a little bit more. It's one of my techniques that I find I'm using time and time again at the moment. It's a great one as well if you're not particularly precise with your blending, if you find it difficult to really blend those colours together. It's a little bit of a hack, as the youngsters say.
A hack,
Yeah. It's a very, very young term, that, isn't it? It's a crafty and hack, this one. To sort of hide the fact that perhaps it's not blended as perfectly as you might like it to be, and it does just add that little bit of interest. So final leaves there, two more little leaves to add our ink to, and then we'll be ready to add that finishing touch. So popping that onto there, then I'll make sure I've got all of my correct lids onto my ink pads, and we'll leave them to one side to make sure I don't pop my elbow in them. I mean, I've got enough ink on my fingers, I don't need my elbow in the ink, that is for certain. So our final two are going to go onto there, and we'll leave those to one side. And then all we want to do is sort of spread our leaves out onto our glass mat, just to make sure we've got them all visible. And then at this point, this is where we bring in our fine spray mister. Give this a little bit of shake, just water in here, nothing sort of fancy or special, just regular old water. And you're just going to give these a nice little spritz all over there, and that's going to give us that little bit of added interest with our water onto there. Now just leave that for a couple of minutes to actually allow that faux bleaching effect to sort of take place, allow that water to soak into that cardstock there, and then you're just going to sort of blot that dry using a rather large piece of kitchen towel. It's like a blanket, this size of that. Huge. And that's going to give you that lovely faux bleach and sort of mottled effect to your leaves. We'll leave that to one side. There we go. Must be at least 3 times I've done that on this show. Never mind. We'll bring back in our larger leaves and we'll do exactly the same technique with these to add that extra little bit of interest.
They look so lifelike.
Don't they? And it was such an easy technique, wasn't it? It was literally just being really random, going in with your ink, being nice and sort of sporadic on the way that we actually added that ink onto our cardstock, and just blot that with water. We did cut these from our watercolour cardstock, so that will take water a lot better than your regular white cardstock, and just blot that one there, and that's going to give you your lovely mottled effect to your leaves. Just wipe off my mat just to make sure I'm wiping off all of that excess ink. Beauty of your water reactives as well is that obviously they're going to react with water, so it makes them super easy to clean off any sort of surface. So that's all of our leaves good to go. The next stage is going to be to bring back in our beautifully hand cut wreath.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so stunning at that. Lovely bit of fussy cut in there. Look at that neatness. Not quite.
Oh,
but,
well.
This is where we're going to not worry about that any longer. This is where it all sort of starts to take shape. Now we'll leave them out to start with, and then we'll go back in with our craft card ones first off. Now you could be adding a little bit of your water reactive Fryer Brown around the edge, and that will sort of weather that and vintage it up a little bit if you so choose. But we'll just go with that as it is. It looks beautiful, the craft card, sort of in its raw form. And all I like to do is pop a little bit of glue, and this is just our tacky glue, into our fine tip glue applicator. Pop a bit of glue onto our wreath, and then we'll stick down our leaves, our craft card leaves, onto our wreath. So I'm just going to space these 4 out, so I've got sort of roughly even spacing. That looks about all right. And once I'm happy with that spacing, I'll just allow that glue to grab for a second, and then we'll pop our 3rd one down onto there. Don't worry about popping tons of glue on there, just as long as you've got enough that's going to hold that into position. And then your final one will pop onto that left-hand side there. It's still looking, let's be honest, rather quite ropey, to say the least. We can still see that awful wreath underneath, but don't worry. Further stages are coming. It will start to look better, I promise you. I have to say, the first time I put one of these together, I looked at this point, I thought, it's not quite looking how I've envisioned it. It's not quite taking shape. Lily, where were you going with this? Come on now. But this is where we bring in our other leaves that we've just coloured using our water reactive inks, and this is where we start to fill in those gaps between. So this is where it's hopefully going to start to look a little bit better. So a little bit of glue onto there, and that's that space there covered up, just shaping the edges of our leaves out a little bit to make them look that extra bit 3D. Next one coming in now, and that's just going to bend, and if it is still slightly damp, that cardstock, it's going to allow it to shape a little bit easier as well. So don't need to worry about getting that completely dry before you actually start to stick things down. So that one will go just between those two. Don't worry about that piece there being slightly exposed. We will stick some of the little leaves over that section, so we definitely won't be seeing any of our scratty wreath by the time we've finished our scratty leaf. There we go. You can see here we've got some slightly larger droplets of water, adds a little bit more interest rather than it just being a fine mist onto our watercolour card. So a little bit more tacky glue on the back. You could use your hot glue gun, but just with your tacky glue, it gives you a little bit more sort of wiggle room, a bit more time to manoeuvre that into position and make sure that you're happy with the placing. And then the final large leaf is just going to fill in that gap there. And by popping in your final leaf, your final large leaf, that's going to sort of complete that first layer, if you like, ready for us to add in all of our extra sort of finishing touches, the leaves that add that little bit of finesse and that extra little bit of interest. So we'll leave that just to make sure everything's dried to apply that next layer, and we'll come back in just a few minutes' time.
Yeah, we'll leave it there for now.
Oh, he's at it as well.
The showstopper details on your screen, so if you want everything, that's where you go. And to be honest, you're getting the best value for money, that big saving, and you're getting 100 bonus points. If you're going the other way, don't forget, you can get all of the fall dies and stamps in a bundle, all of the Halloween dies and stamps in a bundle, or indeed, if you just want to pick and choose, you can obviously do that as well. Shop the show for all of the details. And we'll come back. We're going to be applying all of those leaves that Lily's cut to that wreath, and we'll finish the project after a short break. We'll see you back here in about 4 minutes' time.
when I'm working, it's quite busy because I have to get up really to come into work if I'm going to be travelling from London. But otherwise, I'm quite lazy. I spend a lot of time in bed. Best part of my day is when we come in and I get to see everybody. I really enjoy being up here. It's really nice to see all my friends, and this is my happy place. I do like to see everyone, and also if Christina's in, I'm getting my breakfast from Christina before I start the day. Early riser without a doubt, never a night owl. I'm in bed at 9:30. Bath at night, shower in the morning. I'm very clean. Tea, the colour of He-Man. Both. I like pancakes with bacon and maple syrup. Craft along because there's always a softer side to craft along. My phone, my life is my phone. Yeah, the phone and the dog, unless they're coming up here and I can't bring the dog in. My favourite lunch isn't lunch. My favourite lunch is afternoon tea. That's what I'd like. Lots of selection of sandwiches, scones, or scones, some cream and jam, and some little cakes. Couldn't have it every day because I'd be the size of a house. Oh, that changes with the moment. My favourite song at the moment is Natasha Bedingfield, Unwritten. Or make myself a cup of tea and go and have a bath.
Come in, check my emails, then lay the shows out in the studio, set pack shots up. Then I will get new polls, pick shows, solve any problems that need solving. We deal with other teams. We receive marketing suites, we receive boards. We pick samples to send to Hobby Maker. We pick samples to send to QVC. We will take the previous shows out of the studios, the new shows up. We do floor manage occasionally, not all the time, making sure that the craft expert presenters have everything that they need. Anything that they haven't got during shows, we will run about and get the products for them. Think on and when it's really quiet, I can get more done when there's nobody else in the building. Night owl. Morning. Coffee on a morning, tea the rest of the day. Delivery. Normally lunchtime. Craft along. Mobile phone. Christina's chicken wrap. Barry White, you're my first, my last, my everything. Go home and make the tea.
There we go. More details there about our Tracy, who's currently off on her jollies. Doesn't she deserve it, everybody? Isn't it quieter without Tracy?
It's very quiet, isn't it? Yeah.
Miss her dulcet tones up and down the corridor. I must pick up the coffee as well, actually. Anyway, we are in the midst of a craft along with the shaped card bases. I'll take you through everything as far as the showstopper is concerned at the end, but we are concentrating on the fall collection, specifically the leaf. And rather than making a shaped card base, you're making a wreath.
Certainly am. Thought, you know what, let's do something a little bit different. Of course, you can create all those beautiful shaped cards or toppers using these dies. For that matter, any of the dies within the full collection. But I thought, you know what, we'll mix things up a little bit and we'll create a wreath. You could be popping it on your door, it could be on the inside, could even be on a table if you wanted to be. Perhaps you're setting your dinner table for fall or Thanksgiving or harvest festivals. You could, of course, be doing that with a home decor piece like this. So we got to the stage where we've die cut all of our leaves. We've had our colour to our leaves using some of our water reactive ink pads, and we've started to build that wreath together. Now don't forget, on the back of here it was our horrible scratchy little wreath.
Oh yeah.
But on the front it's starting to look like a proper finished wreath. But we need to add those extra details, all those smaller leaves, that's really going to start to bring this to life. So we'll start off once again with our craft card leaves. So we'll stick our craft card first, and then we'll bring in our coloured leaves to pop over the top. And we just add some of our shape into our leaves, really just start to bring them to life and make them look that little bit more dimensional. Rather than sticking that full leaf down by adding glue all over the reverse, just add a little bit at the sort of bottom section there, not to the very points of the leaves. And that's going to give you that sort of little bit of dimension without adding any of three-dimensional adhesive to the back. So we'll stick that down onto there just to allow that to catch. Like I say, when it comes to that tacky glue, you do need to leave it just a few minutes for that to actually catch, but once it has grabbed, it will stick nice and firm. And then once again to the back of there, we'll start to bring in these lovely little pointed leaves here. Now, of course, we are doing this in all of these lovely autumnal colour tones, but if you want to create a similar sort of thing for spring, then just bring in your lovely rich greens and that would look equally gorgeous. I mean, there's nothing to say about that leaf apart from the colours that it has to be for autumn. It can be for pretty much any season you so choose, which I think is fabulous. It gives us so much more versatility within this one die set.
Are you randomly placing these now, or are you just placing these over like the final sort of bits of the frame that you can see the wreath?
I'm trying to be random, Ben.
Yeah.
I'm trying really hard. But as you can see there, we've got three. Remember,
I was going to say, there's a bit of uniformity.
Yeah, there definitely is. I'm thinking I don't want all of the same sort of leaf clustered together. I'm trying to sort of space out the different styles of leaves. But you guys at home, if you're a little bit better than me at being random, then by all means go in with those random techniques and sort of just arrange those however you so fit, just to sort of pack out the space here. We're really just starting to make this look that little bit more full. It doesn't need to be really precise. It doesn't have to be a pattern to it if you don't want there to be. You just want to start to add in that interest and add in that detail. So we've got all these leaves, add a little bit of shape in, then bring in your tacky glue around the base there and start to build this together. And I'm having everything sort of flowing in the one direction, so it's flowing in a clockwise orientation, so that everything's going to look so it's placed together nicely, so nothing is looking kind of out of place with our leaves. So another one tucked into there, and make sure that you're tucking them into each other, have them sort of almost like they're growing out of each other, which gives that extra little bit of interest.
Yeah.
And we'll tuck that one in there, I think. Have some of them at a slightly different angle, but all moving in that same direction, and just starting to build this together, starting to add that fullness.
And you're going to use them all then as well, so you've cut a specific amount that you'll get them all on, right?
So for this, I've cut 3 of all of the small ones, so 3 from craft and 3 from the watercolour cardstock that we coloured, and I've also cut 4 of the larger ones, so 4 from the watercolour cardstock that we coloured, and then 4 from the craft card. It's up to you. You can add more, you can add less. You don't have to have the same amount of watercolour card versus craft card. That choice is yours. Just whatever you feel is sort of enough to finish off that wreath. So then we're going to bring in all of these little coloured leaves here to be those final finishing touches to our wreath here. So bringing these in, a little bit of tacky glue once again to the bottom of here. Now, when it comes to adhesive, I'd definitely say a wet glue is the one to go for. You could use a hot glue gun, but you will find that once it's stuck, it's pretty much stuck, and you've not really got a lot of time to manoeuvre that into position if you need to rearrange things a little bit. So tacky glue is a great one to go for. It's a nice long-lasting glue, but it gives you those few moments to manoeuvre it around until you're happy with the placement of that particular leaf. Just filling out that little space, I can see a little bit of that that horrible scratchy little wreath underneath. So we will make sure that is nicely covered. You can see a little bit on that side there. So we'll just slip that under, and that's the beauty as well of not gluing all of the full sort of area of that leaf, leaving that end there where it's not got any glue on. That allows you to actually tuck other leaves underneath there to start to build that really nice full effect to your wreath. So another one through there, and each time I'm gluing one down, I'm having a look at the wreath as a whole. I'm looking at whether I feel like it needs more, where I've got spaces, perhaps where there's more craft card, does it need another of the colour ones added in?
Yeah.
And it's just sort of keep having a little look, keep sort of checking on how it's looking. Have we got a lot of a certain type of wreath leaves, so sort of shape of a certain leaf more so in one area compared to another. In that case, adding a different style of wreath and just getting that variety of all of the different styles, all the different colours. And the beauty with hand colouring all of your leaves as well, it means that they're all different.
Yeah.
So you're going to have that variety rather than using coloured cardstock where you've got that uniformity, which is great for some things, but when we want to create something that looks a little bit more natural, a little bit more sort of organic, then it's ideal to actually be colouring your sort of leaves by hand, and it's super easy to do. You saw how we weren't precise or exact when we were applying that ink. It was just a nice fun process to bring all this together. Just a couple more to add on, and then the finishing touches will be to add our little hanging sort of elements. So you can hang this from a door. You could be hanging this from an inner door. It could be on a doorknob as well. That would work quite nicely. Maybe you've got a nice feature cabinet in one of your rooms and you want to hang it from there.
Did you say earlier on as like a little table decoration?
Yeah.
You almost have like as your centrepiece in your table, couldn't you, for Thanksgiving or a
Definitely.
harvest dinner?
Harvest festival, yeah. I'm thinking if you've got a nice candle, you could pop that, leave off your hanger, pop it on the table like that, pop a candle in the middle, and that's going to look beautiful. So that's our wreath as it is, good to go.
Brilliant.
But all we need to do just to finish it off is bring in a little length of ribbon here. I have a feeling, I could be wrong, I think this might have been from the Year of Craft box number 6. It might be.
If you say so, Lily.
Take my word for it, eh?
Take your word for it,
Take my word for it. Any sort of ribbon, you could be going with an organza if you wanted something a little bit more sort of ethereal looking, think a little bit more translucent if you want it to be. So a couple of sort of lengths there of your red liner tape. It's going to be perfect for adhering your ribbon. Now this could be the rest of the show gone now, guys, peeling the backing off this red liner. It's even worse when it's something like fabric because the adhesive doesn't want to stick to it. So it makes it even more difficult to peel that off. But there you go. Got one of 2 done. The other one, and I'm just getting my pokey tool underneath that backing, trying to make sure that I've burnished it nicely so that the actual the adhesive is onto the ribbon, and we're just peeling the backing off rather than both the backing and the adhesive. So just let's pop that onto there. I find it a little bit easier for this part to actually do it from the reverse. Remember how scratchy it's looking on the other side. Of course, you could cover that if you want, but you don't need to, of course.
No.
Pop that onto there, couple of lengths of ribbon. And that's pretty much going to finish it off. I have added a little sentiment onto my one that I did do ahead of time. So that's actually a sentiment that's included in that same stamp and die set. Because don't forget, within each one of these, it's not just about the dies, you get your stamps as well. But this is pretty much your finished wreath, all good to go. Leave it a few moments to dry and it's going to be ready to be hanging out on your door, ready for the season of autumn or fall. Nice and easy though. How quick and easy was that to create? We created that literally from scratch. So you guys at home can recreate this in your own homes. Hope you enjoyed it.
Absolutely brilliant. And yeah, it shows you another great way to be able to use these dies for lots of different projects. It is our shaped card base showstopper. I'll take you through all of the dies and stamps that you're going to get, and then we'll show you some finished samples. Just as a by-the-by, coming up after this on 24/7, we've got the craft along from the other day with Craig when he did that amazing craft along with the penny slider, created his own penny slider card from scratch with the vintage Halloween collection. He had the spider as the penny spider.
Penny Spider. Could be a name, that, Penny Spider.
Penny Spider, yeah.
So, if you're watching, let us know.
It was a good one actually, so it's worth stopping by for. The showstopper though is everything in this set, so you're saving $45.92 or $49.80. Platinum price is £72 or $88, and you'll get 100 bonus points here as well. There's a full section and a Halloween section, so if you want to go for those bundles individually, you can do that. If you just want to buy individuals, maybe you just want to recreate Lily's wreath, this is the one that you'll go for. So this one is called Leaves Are Falling, got the main die in there. And again, that one allows you to create your toppers, create shaped card bases as well if you want, but you've got all these other elements in there too. So the leaves, all of the pieces of the acorn there as well, which you can build together to produce something like this. And then of course you've got all of these great stamps as well. Hello fall, thank you, autumn greetings, leaves are falling, autumn is calling. Also fun in the fall section is the turkey. Gobble this deal up. It's the Thanksgiving turkey. Again, all these different components here to make up all of his feathers. He's even got his little pilgrim's hat on there as well. And you get the pie. Happy Thanksgiving, warm greetings, and I'm so thankful for you. Or just a few. I love that one as well. You've got Happy Turkey Day in there. Maybe you could send that to someone who's going off on Turkey, off on holiday to Turkey. Happy Turkey Day, everybody. Yeah, I could have had that for my holiday, but never mind. Harvest Nature is the next one. So this is that beautiful set of toadstools. And again, all of the dice to be able to create this, create a shape card if you wish, and use those stamps in there as your sentiments. Have a beautiful day. May all of the good things of life be yours. And then the last one in the Harvest set, or the fall set, is that cornucopia. So you've got the cornucopia, and then you've got all of those harvest vegetables within there too. Also included in the showstopper, but now beginning with the Halloween set, is this collection. So the Batty About You, I mean, he is absolutely brilliant. All of the elements there to be able to create the bat, whether you're using that to create home decor pieces, as a topper, as a shape card. You've also got the little spider stamps in there too, and some really fun sentiments as well, like I'm Batty About You and Let's Hang Out. Then you've got your jack-o'-lantern. So again, brilliant there because you've got the actual shape of the pumpkin, all of the embellishments and all of the different facial expressions too. So you can create more spooky pumpkins, cheeky pumpkins, miserable pumpkins, dopey pumpkins.
I don't want a miserable pumpkin.
No, you don't. Oh, but you can if you want. You've got Boo, Trick or Treat, Hello Pumpkin and more. Then you've got your cat, the Cat in the Hat, and as we said, yes, spooky cat, but of course, you can use that all year round. Use the hat on the pumpkin if you want to as well. Pop the hat on the Frankenstein I'm about to show you in just a few moments' time, but sentiments in there include feline, spooky, no tricks, just treats, and happy Halloween. And there he is, there is Mr. Frankenstein's monster, and again, all the bits and pieces to be able to build him up, including his nuts and bolts. He's got his hair in there as well, and you've also got things like happy, haunting, trick or treat, and you're a monster. 100 bonus points comes with all of that. Shall we have a quick look at some finished samples with Lily before we disappear? Let's have a look.
Yeah, let's have a little look at perhaps the intended concept to start with. So this is what we've designed these dies to do, and those are to create your shape card bases. And this is a very easy concept to put together. You're going to die cut all your decoration, you're going to die cut that full pumpkin for the front, then you're going to take a piece of folded cardstock, you're going to fold that in half, you're going to hang your die over the top, that's going to cut through those two layers, and that's going to form that card base itself. Pop your topper onto the front and you've got a fantastic shape card, freestanding. It's going to stand up beautifully on your mantelpiece and you've created that from scratch. How much fun is that? I had to bring you my absolute favourite from that Halloween collection. Look at him.
So good.
He's definitely batty. I mean, look at his eyes there.
His eyes are a bit squiffy, aren't they?
Absolutely fabulous. What Rebecca's done here, oh sorry, it's Kerry that's done this one. Gorgeous make here, Kerry. She's popped a little bit of glossy highlights onto the eyes, and that gives you that really lovely glass. How much fun is that? And the way his mouth is slightly to an angle, and that's the beauty of having all those dies separate. It means you can position all of those different items in different ways, however you so choose. So that's your sort of intended concept. That's a freestanding card once again, so that's going to stand nicely as it is. But how about using these as toppers onto cards? So exactly the same die set that we've actually just used for this craft along, but creating a beautiful twisted easel card. Isn't that just absolutely gorgeous? This is one by Jackie. Gorgeous card there, Jackie. Love that one. But once again, showing how you can use different colourways onto your leaves. And then this one, I have to show you this one. This is so much fun. It looks fabulous as it is, but wait for this one. Look at that! Sandy Brooks, that is blooming brilliant. That is so cool. You've got that lovely slide up element. I mean, I could play with that all day. That is just so much fun. And then finally, I'll bring in this one. You can pop your little boxes on the inside. So die cut a couple of them back to back. A little box in the middle. I mean, you can't fit an awful lot in there. A few pennies maybe. But that is going to give you a gorgeous little gift box. And once again, it freestands just like so. They are such a fun collection of dies. Shape cards, toppers, wreaths. You can do the lot with this fantastic collection of stamps and dies.
Yeah, you can. And again, the brilliant thing is you don't have to be next level crafter to work with these. And if you get these back and you just want to work with these, as intended, so making toppers, making the shape card bases with these, absolutely you can. But the great thing is you now go away with a brilliant craft along that kind of takes these to the next level, gives you other ideas of ways to be able to use these, because we do this quite a lot. We'll tell you the name of something and then you get stuck in your head, okay, well, I can only use these for shape card bases. Of course, you can use them for lots of other crafts as well. And again, just to show you here, you can see all of the different designs that you're going to be getting if you go for the showstopper. So from the turkey to the leaves, the cat. I mean, it's quite hard to choose a favourite in that. What is your favourite in that?
Oh, goodness me. Can I choose a favourite from the Halloween and from the fall?
Okay,
Is that allowed? Okay.
Yeah.
From the fall, it has to be the leaf, of course. And from the Halloween, that bat. That bat,
The bat.
just, I adore it, yeah. So those two. I can't choose one, so I'll choose two.
Yeah.
Go on, what's your favourite? Is it Frankenstein?
I think it probably is Frankenstein from Halloween, and just because I'm childish and I love like cartoony characters, it's got to be the turkey from the.
Oh, he's fabulous, isn't he? He's absolutely fabulous. I find the most gorgeous little gift bag as well, so you can pop your gorgeous little toppers onto a gift bag. How much fun is that? Can you imagine for a Thanksgiving dinner? That'd be amazing.
Brilliant. What a craft vlog. Massive thank you to Lily for an amazing project. Don't forget, for you can get that showstopper, pick it up, £72, $88 and 100 bonus points. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.